continue with this presentation, but thank you to everyone who is part of this crew and helped make this an event a success. So with that, I also want to invite C to come on deck and lead us through a somatic moment to kind of open up the space today. And just one last reminder is we're really encouraging folks to wear their masks when they're not eating. Thank you.
Thanks, Prerna. I'm going to remove my mask so that I can project. Hi, I'm C. It's so wonderful to be sharing this meal with you and getting excited about the organizing that we're going to be doing together to build the dual power that we need to get out of the crises that we're all living through together. We wanted to offer a song, myself and my compañero Cristobal. And this song, you received both of the songs for today on a little tiny eighth of a page when you walked in. Both songs are from the Peace Poets who originated with the Brotherhood Sister Soul out of the South Bronx. We've brought them to Cleveland a few times, and our co-op, our collective, the Interreligious Task Force, has done work with them to close down the detention for Muslim men in Guantanamo, and now we're going to have to close down detention for migrants in Guantanamo as well. But this first song is about our ancestors, bringing ourselves and our whole lineage, and that doesn't have to just be our biological ancestors. It can be our spiritual, our movement ancestors, our academic ancestors, our chosen kin, and thinking about the ancestors we wish to become. So I'm going to sing it once through, and then join me when you're ready, or if you know it already, join right away. We'll probably sing it about 4 or 5 times total. The last time we'll sing it as a we and not just an I. I have not come here alone. I carry my people in my bones. I have not come here alone. If you listen, you can hear them in my soul. I have not come here alone. I carry my people in my bones. I have not come here alone. If you listen, you can hear them in my soul. I have not come here alone. I carry my people in my bones. I have not come here alone. If you listen, you can hear them in my soul. Please keep snapping for me. I have not come here alone. Like you mean it. I carry my people in my bones. I have not come here alone. If you listen, you can hear them in my soul. We have not come here alone. We carry our people in our bones. We have not come here alone. If you listen, you can hear them in our soul. If you listen, you can hear them in our soul. If you listen, you can hear them in our soul. The last thing I want to say about that, thank you, is music is an embodied experience, and music can be really disarming when you're on the front lines, engaged in direct action. It's something that will confuse your oppressors, and it's a great tool in your tool belt to just remember our shared humanity. So I hope that you'll be able to keep that with you, not just tonight, but into the future. Thanks, Perna.
Can we get a round of applause? Thank you, C. That was beautiful. So today's program is really going to focus on how do the ethics and the practice of cooperation, cooperative movements, and cooperative institutions help us to resist the authoritarian state that we are regularly confronted with and continue to be more confronted with. So I want to invite my teammates, Bogdan and Jonathan, to come up and give us a little introduction to the solidarity economy and tell us a little bit more about the political context of why we're here.
Thanks, Brenna. Hi, everyone. I'm Jonathan. I use he, him pronouns. And I want to tell you a story about a room not so dissimilar from this. It's 1934. We're in Pittsburgh, and hundreds of folks from across the country have gathered for the first ever convening of what was called the Young Negroes Cooperative League. This was in the depths of the Great Depression. There are soup lines around the corner. Unemployment is sky high. And the government is passing laws to try to fix the failure of capitalism. And the laws they were passing in the 30s were explicitly designed to exclude Black people. They were racist laws that exempted the benefits from accruing to agricultural workers and domestic workers. And so the folks in that room in 1934 realized that capitalism was not going to save them and that the government was not going to save them. And so they decided to save themselves. So they started food co-ops, they started barter networks, and they convened a nationwide movement not far from here, right in Pittsburgh, including with some delegates from Cleveland who traveled for this meeting. And they used tools of the solidarity economy to imagine how to build a world inside the shell of the existing world. Today, we're in a different context, but there are really clear parallels between what that group in Pittsburgh was going through and what we're going through right now. We currently have a government that is intent on imposing the most vicious version of racial capitalism. We have an administration that is actively undermining the public services that do very small amounts of taking the hard edges off of capitalism. They are defunding early childhood education. They're rolling back the rules that keep mercury out of rivers. And just like the folks in that room in Pittsburgh, we have a choice to make, which is, are we going to wait for someone to save us, or are we going to find a way to save ourselves? And I'm happy to say that in Cleveland, for decades, people have been using the tools of the solidarity economy to find ways to make progress on building a new world inside of the shell of its own. If you go to the next slide, and the one after that, thank you. Tonight, we're going to look at the expressions of how the solidarity economy has showed up right here in Cleveland. And we're going to really focus on, if the solidarity economy is a tree, we're going to focus on the parts of the tree that are visible. So we're going to talk about co-ops and community land trusts, non-market ways to meet human needs outside of racial capitalism. But we also know there are an incredible number of solidarity economy practices that live in the soil that might not be visible to the eye, but that we all participate in. And these are barter and trade and DIY and mutual aid. If you've ever sewn a button back onto your shirt when it's ripped off, you've participated in the solidarity economy because you're meeting your needs without relying on the tools of capitalism. Thankfully, in Cleveland, we have a rich ecosystem, and we're going to hear from about a dozen or so institutions, organizations, groups that are combining to use solidarity economy tools to fight against racial capitalism. And just like the folks in Pittsburgh, I think that we have a decision to make about how are we going to use the power that we've built, and how are we going to continue to build power to meet our needs outside of capitalism and outside of an extractive state. One of the things we know is that wherever there is oppression, there is resistance. And we know that in Cleveland, wherever there is capitalism, there is resistance. And that resistance often looks like solidarity economy practices. And we're so fortunate because we're not inventing these things, we're not making them up, and we're not doing them on our own. Just like C just shared, there's a rich history of groups who've used these practices before us, including the Young Negro Cooperative League in 1934, and other groups that Bogdan's going to share more about.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jonathan. Love this tree metaphor, and that we all are already participating in the solidarity economy with the ways that we show solidarity and cooperation in our lives. I'm Bogdan. I use he, they pronouns. Bit of an update, perhaps. And I work with Jonathan, Prerna, Craig, and a bunch of collaborators at Cleveland Owns. We're an economic democracy incubator. So I will share about some examples of the solidarity economy if we can go to the next slide. So many communities over time have turned to the solidarity economy in times of oppression, and in Collective Courage, which is a book written by Jessica Gordon Nemhart about the history of cooperation in African American communities. She really eloquently calls out the Underground Railroad as an example of the solidarity economy and cooperation. Yes, snaps to that. Folks who participated in the Underground Railroad not only shared a political analysis against slavery and all the institutions that supported it, but also they shared economic assets like homes, horses, food, and so much more in order to confront racist laws and institutions and collectively work for liberation. People who were enslaved, fleeing enslavement, were also taking coordinated action like work slowdowns and creating escape paths together. Black and white resistors also formed cooperative communities to help runaways from enslavement find safety and build themselves up. Here in Cleveland, we had a really well-known stop on the Underground Railroad named Station Hope, codenamed Station Hope. That's St. John's Episcopal Church in near West 25th Street. That was a major hub, and people would come to Cleveland before making it to Canada. A lot of the time, that was their destination. And they're in Collective Courage. There are several communities of participants in the Underground Railroad set up to help the refugees, and some of these are the Northampton Association of Education and Industry, which was an integrated commune in Western Massachusetts. It provided education and work and sustained itself by running a silk mill that people would operate, and members of that included Sojourner Truth, David Ruggles, and Frederick Douglass. They all lived and worked together and learned how to fight against these systems. Another example was the Combahee River Colony, which is where the Combahee River Collective, a feminist group, takes its name from. During the Civil War, Harriet Tubman led a group of Black Union soldiers to chase out the white plantation owners in the Georgia, South Carolina Sea Islands. The men joined the Union Army, and the women stayed behind on the plantations and successfully ran them in a thriving community where they produced crops, handicrafts, and cared for each other on that land. Another example, if we can go to the next slide, of the solidarity economy is New Communities, Inc., which gave rise to the Community Land Trust movement. So New Communities, Inc. was a collective farm started in 1969 by leaders of the civil rights movement. These included Charles and Shirley Sherrod, Slater King, a cousin of MLK, and John Lewis. And they were aiming to secure independence for African-American families in Southwest Georgia, particularly Black farmers who were being chased out of their land. And they collectively managed 5,700 acres, which combined collectively owned land with individually owned housing, which was the very first example that set the model for the Community Land Trust. We will be hearing from a Community Land Trust building one in Cleveland Heights later today. And fun fact, they actually had someone from Cleveland Heights help them in building this one. So we have a lot of shared history. Families cooperatively farmed and operated a farmer's market, sugar mill, greenhouse, and smokehouse, among other things. Unfortunately, but as is typical of our institutions, racist institutions in this country, they underwent a racist attack, many of them actually, but there was a particularly bad one in 1985 when there was a really bad drought happening in the South. where all the white farmers were getting bailed out with USDA loans. All the black farmers were being denied those loans without any explanation. And that led to them not being able to sustain themselves. 25 years later, though, the original founders did receive a settlement that allowed them to purchase 1,600 acres, which they're today using for farming and education. And you can see the pictures from today and the pictures from back in the day. Last example, if we can go to the next slide, is not in the US, but overseas in Europe and Spain, particularly the Basque region of Spain. The largest cooperative network in the world, known as Mondragon, exists there. They have 81 co-ops. Most of them are very high-tech industrial manufacturing co-ops, but they also have some agriculture, some grocery stores. Actually, one of the largest network of grocery stores in Spain is the Mondragon Co-op. They have 70,000 workers about, and they're in the Basque region. Mondragon was organized during Francisco Franco's dictatorship, which was a very brutal regime lasting for 40 years, 1935 to 1975, that punished any opposition and attempted to control all aspects of life. It's particularly harsh on the Basque people, where Mondragon was located. Mondragon was started by a non-traditional Catholic priest using the cover of the church. He got to the village in 1941. First thing he did was start a medical clinic and a sports team, but then started a school. And he ran that school for 15 years to train the first generation of leaders for the Mondragon movement, which a group of 30 of them in 1956 finally purchased a co-op in a neighboring town. It was a manufacturing appliances, brought it to Mondragon. In those 15 years, he taught a class like every 2.4 days. So just like lots of education happening for that whole time. And it's had a huge result. It significantly increased the quality of life for the Basques. They now have one of the lowest levels of inequality in the world. From being extremely oppressed people under Franco, they are now living one of the best. However, there are legitimate critiques of Mondragon that it has not maintained a political analysis that challenges global capitalism, leading to legitimate critiques such as abuse of the workers in developing countries and the workers, while being able to participate in the decision-making on large decisions, not participating in the smaller ones. And part of the reason for this, I think, is because the regime was so brutal, it did not allow any kind of other opinions or thinking. So even though the founders were all very interested in other economic systems, they couldn't be vocal about it. So hopefully in the US, we're at a point today still where we can be vocal. We're not where Franco was, even though our leaders are very inspired by him and others as examples. And we can actually be ambitious about the new worlds that we want to live in. And learn from Mondragon in that way.
Thanks for these examples, Bogdan. Yeah, and there's another set of examples on the next page that we don't have time to go into, but you can see and do some more research about awesome examples where the solidarity economy thrives in the face of resistance, which I think has strong parallels to the moment that we're living in now. It's also no surprise that in Cleveland, a city that is highly segregated and has a tremendous amount of inequality and public health failures, the solidarity economy has been thriving. And so we're going to tonight look at some of those examples. A quick coda to the story that I shared earlier, the Young Negro Cooperative League in Pittsburgh raised a generation of leaders in the principles of the solidarity economy. One of those leaders was Ella Jo Baker, who went on to be a famous leader in the Black freedom movement, the civil rights movement, kind of ushered in and coached the team that started SNCC, which led some of the boycotts. So there's a direct link between the principles and actions of the solidarity economy and fighting for the political rights and power that we need to create a new world. And that's why I'm so excited that we're here tonight to learn from other co-ops and talk about how we can work together to fight and build and fight back. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, amazing. So we have a list of 15 cooperative and otherwise Solidarity Economy Incorporated co-ops on pages 3, 4, and 5 of your booklets. You can feel free to open those up. So one by one, we're going to have a representative of two of these groups come up on stage and give us a little pitch. Let us know what your group does, how you're resisting authoritarianism, what you're hoping to offer the community, what you do offer the community, and some asks you have for the community. While groups talk, we really want to encourage y'all to take note of anything that stands out to you. And after we have all these groups pitch, we'll have plenty of time for folks to go around and meet folks part of these different groups and really get to see like, oh, is there any way that I can plug in or tap in? I think on the left, sometimes we have a tendency to try to reinvent the wheel. And there's a lot of really, really cool work already happening across the city. So we're excited to share that with folks and see if there's ways for y'all to tap in. Each group has 3 minutes to pitch, and then I will have to cut you off after 3 minutes for equity. So I'll have like each group come up one by one. Our first group is going to be People's Plumbing. Hi. Okay. Hi, bud. Oh, it's good to see you.
Hello, everyone. My name's Mark. Any pronouns are fine. I am the newest member of People's Plumbing. I just want to share my own personal story about People's Plumbing real quick. A couple of years ago, you may remember we had a pretty heavy rain in Cleveland, and you may have heard on the news or on social media people saying that like the city sewers are backing up. Well, some of them backed up into my basement. And as I'm dealing with Roto-Rooter and they're telling me that they're going to charge me $12,000, and that's a discount to work on the plumbing just under the footprint of the house. This is not even half of the job. I'm starting to think to myself, well, I guess I won't need to marry my partner. I guess we won't need to have children, and I guess we'll just put all of our money into this. And then Cristobal calls us up and says, did I tell you that I was a plumber in California? And could I come and take a look at your house? And we got to work and rented the tools that were needed. Did not go into incredible debt. My partner and I are actually going to get married. We can afford to get married in May. And a few months ago, Cristobal called me up and said, we need another plumber. Would you like to join People's Plumbing? And so we are here today. And I'm going to pass over to Cristobal.
Yeah. I was talking to someone earlier about tonight and how I'm more excited about tonight than I have been for co-op circles in a while because of the theme of resisting. And one of the things is we offer our labor as a gift. And we really work on, like I really work on myself, but as a group, we try to work on ourselves to really mean it when we say anything from $0 to $500,000 is fine with us. Like, and I cut it off at $500,000 because we don't want to take more than we need. And after profit sharing, we could all buy a house. We could each have a house with that much money. And so does that mean it's been 1 minute? 1 minute left. My analysis of the situation before the election was that no matter who won, our work is the same: build community, challenge capitalism by showing that gift economics, generosity, and mutual aid can really work and be sustainable and help communities thrive. But now I feel like over the last month or so that I was wrong and that we need to do a lot more than, like, a lot of our work is helping people who have homes, who have property, who are otherwise sheltered. And I'm just thinking of like, of ICE, and I'm thinking of trans people who are being told they can't get an ID. And I'm just like, oh, they're really, really trying to make it, they're really challenging democracy, like the right to free speech, the right to be who we are and how we speak. And my time is up. And I don't know what we're going to do about that, but we're down for that.
Thank you. Okay, I want to invite Danielle from Badger House up and the representative from Little Africa Food Co-op on deck.
Hello, I'm from the Badger House Coffee Company. I'm gonna take this off while I'm talking. So we are very new. We did Co-op University this past fall, and currently we're selling coffee beans. You can order us online, or I brought some in person today, or we're also on the shelves in Chupa's in Parma and Rudy Strudel. So this month we are donating $1 per bag from our sales to go directly to Colors Plus Cleveland, which is an organization that supports LGBTQ plus youth. So thank you. So that's just one of the things that we're trying to do in our very early stages. So we're gonna do a different organization every month. And then what I would offer to the group is that I'd be willing to trade bags of coffee for other services or items. And then what I would ask from the group is if you have any connections with places that maybe we could get some shelf space, I would appreciate that. And then other things that I just thought I would share that I personally have been trying to do to resist what is happening right now. And none of these are anything crazy or new, but obviously educating yourselves, know your rights. You can find resources on AOC's website and also on the ACLU. Use your library. So obviously you can get books there, but they also have free apps that you can do audiobooks if you're not someone that likes to sit down and read. Stay informed. So seek out people that are smarter than you and talk to them. Check multiple resources. Any information that you get, like try to find multiple places that have that information to verify it. There's a lot of misinformation and disinformation out there, so we want to know the correct information. Protest, of course. Don't obey in advance. Civil disobedience, malicious compliance, those are all great ways that you can protest. Of course, attend town halls, call your representatives, vote. Use your money wisely, so support small businesses, try to stop supporting big corporations. And then do things like this and do community building. So that is it for me. Thank you.
Okay, on deck we have Nightlight Books, and now I want to welcome, is it Telia? No? Okay, I'm gonna let you introduce yourself from Little Africa Food Co-op.
Peace, everybody. Can y'all hear me? Disinvestments in communities, including loss of community institutions and businesses such as grocery stores, further exacerbates food apartheid. Peace. I'm Tila Badu, founder and visionary of Little Africa Food Co-op, which is an up-and-coming community-owned grocery store. We are working to build between the Mount Pleasant and Buckeye community. We were founded in 2016 behind the murder of Philando Castile, with the premise of independence from all systems, including the food system that is destroying Black lives. Our mission is to provide an inexpensive, healthy food source to urban communities. This spring, we are opening a farmer's market at 12910 Soika Avenue to raise funds and momentum for our future grocery store, in hopes that it will bring back community to the neighborhoods and a safe space. Over the past 9 years, through our partnership with our nonprofit Little Africa Food Collaborative, we were able to hire returning citizens as drivers for our food delivery program to the sick, elderly, and shut-in. We were also able to feed and educate over 200 families. We currently have 100 members looking to gain 100 more this year. Our current needs are signage, our gate fixed, vendors, and the word out. How you can join the movement is become a vendor, a volunteer, or a member. By joining as vendors, volunteers, or members, you're not just supporting a grocery store, you are investing in the health and vitality of our communities. Together, we can sow the seeds of change and nourish the growth of the community. Thanks. Peace.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Awesome. Okay, so next we're going to have a representative from Nightlight Books come up. I'm going to have the groups that are on deck actually stand right next to us on stage. So next I'm going to ask the representative from Study Buddies to also come up and just stand on deck on stage. Thank you.
Hello. I'm a little nervous, so I apologize if I speak too quickly. My name is Allie, pronouns they, them, and I'm here with Patrick, pronouns he, him, from Nightlight Books, a disability-focused bookshop. We wanted to start by saying that survival is resistance. When you are disabled in a society that determines the value of your life based on your labor, survival is a form of resistance. Because everything about this country is built to tell us our lives are at best tragic or at worst that we are a useless mouse to feed or better off dead. In a society that simultaneously shatters what pitiful health care we have access to, while expanding the so-called right to die, as in telling medical institutions they must exercise all powers to save life unless the person is disabled, in which case they can legally kill them, survival is resistance. When you can't get married because if you do, you would lose access to your health care or disability payments, survival is resistance. In a society that decided the pandemic was over, not because people weren't dying or becoming disabled en masse, but because the right people were dying and becoming disabled, survival is resistance. In a society in which environmental collapse is happening all around us, and disabled people are abandoned in floods, fires, and tornadoes, survival is resistance. In a society in which it is still legal to forcibly sterilize disabled people without consent or even awareness, survival is resistance. Nightlight Books is a disability-focused and disabled-operated pop-up bookstore that aims to work as a co-op through the Cleveland Owns Co-op U program. What we can offer to the community is that we will be here for you when you become disabled, because there is no such thing as an able-bodied person, there is only the temporarily able-bodied. Disability is a part of nature, it is natural and normal, and we will be here for you when it happens to offer you wisdom, community, and our resources. This includes resources like books by and about disabled folks and their experiences, where we are the center of our own stories. This includes books like The People's Guide to Disability Justice and Octavia Butler's ever-relevant Parable of the Sower, both of which we have today. The disability community in the offline world is very fragmented. This is in large part because of the inaccessibility of our spaces and the ableism rooted in every facet of society that keeps disabled people from participating. For example, just recently, the Justice Department removed online pages that included guidance for businesses to comply with existing ADA regulations. In our store, we are creating a space for disabled people to have community, and we are looking for folks that have commercial property experience to help us find a way to physically create this space. While our new titles are by and about disabled folks, we also carry used books and welcome donations to add to our inventory. Finally, we need to get the message out as far and wide as we can that we are here as a store and as members of the disabled community.
Awesome. If Study Buddies, y'all want to come up. And then on deck, we have a speaker from the REI Union.
Hello. So my husband, Delaney, has always loved animals. Since I've known him, he's spent untold hours loving and caring for the animals around us. And he regularly checks in with the pets that he's cared for and the owners of those pets and constantly educating them, building community. He's been this way his whole life, deeply caring and friendly and constructive, and I love him for it. When he decided to expand his knowledge by becoming a pet groomer, I encouraged him, and he became a really great pet groomer over the past 5 years. He's got a following around town. But he and I both had a frustration with the way that his salon worked. It was very adversarial. Everybody had their own customers, and nobody felt a need to help take care of the other pets in the salon. So we saw it as an opportunity. We thought if we start it as a co-op, then everybody has, an incentive to take care of every pet. So we started in late 2023, starting a grooming salon, and it's called Study Buddies Grooming. And we started with those goals in mind, putting pet care and education first, and we could also take care of workers better because of it. At the center is our desire to bring power to the workers by bringing democracy into the workplace and educating workers and customers about the benefits of co-ops. We're helping to build the new world in the shell of the old one. And by ensuring that the workers get to control the surplus value they create, we're increasing the influence of the working class. If you hadn't noticed already, Delaney and I are proudly transgender. We're not afraid to be ourselves, and we want to work in a place that allows us to express our identity. We know that people like us and other marginalized people are used by scapegoats by authoritarians, and by building a workplace where everybody can celebrate their identity, we can convince people who might have been convinced by reactionary media that we're anything other than just regular people doing regular things. We thought about how community might need our services, so we want to donate our labor to pet shelters and build school programs for grooming. If you want to help us, you can get our social media out there. We're always open to bartering services for goods and vice versa. If you got any stinky pets, we're happy to take care of them. And we'd love to encourage everyone to donate their time to local shelters and donate necessary things like pet food and all that. That's all.
Amazing. So next on deck, we have someone pitching for our co-op circle organizing crew. And then we'll be inviting speakers from the REI Union to come and share what they're up to.
Hello, my name's Justina. I use she, her pronouns. I work at REI Co-op. It's an outdoor recreation consumer co-op that's operating right now like a corporation. The workers in our Beechwood or Cleveland store organized voting union yes in March of 2023. We have been fighting for our first contract against a company that hired Amazon's union busting lawyers. They have used delay tactics and are not negotiating in good faith. More recently, we're fighting against the company because they are not listening to workers at the table. There's tallied up about 175 labor law violations, and we have pending unfair labor practice charges against them. They are now not listening. The board of directors is now not listening to our co-op members when they express their disgust with the company's behaviors. The board is full of executives who don't represent the workers or the members of REI. REI workers are forbidden from serving on the board. The board rejected our two very qualified pro-labor candidates, so we're urging people who are current members to register to vote withhold on the board's picks. Our Vote No campaign is gaining traction. Voting ends May 1st. So our ask is essentially, if you are a member of REI, please vote withhold or amplify our voices. Is there anything you'd like to add? Thank you. Yeah.
I'm Graham Gale. I use they, them pronouns, and I am Justina's staff organizer. I live in New York, so it's a great pleasure to be here with y'all and really appreciate seeing the meaningful community that you all are building. It is deeply inspiring. So the other thing that we have going on is we're having a rally at the store on April 5th. If you are around, it is 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. We're going to start off with a quick rally, and then we're going to do flyering for the rest of the day to get people to vote no themselves. Also, it is tempting, if you are an REI member, to cancel your membership, but as Justina said, it is powerful. You have power in your REI co-op membership. So stay a member and stay activated and help us vote no. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next we have the incomparable Miss Mickey pitching the co-op circle organizing crew. I'm gonna have the Cleveland Solar Cooperative on deck. Sorry, I forgot y'all.
Ready? All right. Hello, everyone. I am Miss Mickey Smith. And although I represent Little Africa Food Cooperative, I also represent the cooperative circles as a co-facilitator. So friends, colleagues, and fellow cooperators, in a world where systems of domination often seek to, ooh, my glasses, y'all. Isolate and divide us, the power of collective action shines brighter than ever. For 2 minutes, let's talk about the vital work of our cooperative circles, a beacon of resistance and interdependence. We gather bi-monthly and include an inclusive space where established cooperators and aspiring ones converge. This isn't just a meeting. It's a galvanizing force, fostering connections and mutual support. We are building a network of resilience and a web of shared resources and knowledge. Our work extends beyond these gatherings. We delve into educational study groups, dissecting the very structures we seek to transform. And of course, at the heart of it all are the cooperative circles themselves. Nurturing the seeds of democratic economy and power.
Start attacking
but
people?
This work doesn't happen in a vacuum.
What the hell is
it
wrong with
requires
you?
the hands and hearts of many. We need your help. We need assistance with the essential tasks that makes our gatherings possible. So I need you to think about it.
Get a life.
Planning and organizing. Laying the groundwork for impactful sections, as you see now. Set up and clean up. Creating and welcoming the functional space. Sign-in table, ensuring everyone feels seen and included. Our tech team. Bridging the digital divide and keeping us connected. A photographer, capturing the moments of solidarity and progress. Childcare, as you can hear the kids in the back. Ensuring parents can fully participate. Our outreach, expanding our circle and inviting new voices. And cooks, nourishing our bodies and souls with shared meals. Every contribution, big or small, strengthens our collective resistance. By working together, we build a future where cooperation, not domination, defines our reality. Join us, lend your skills, and be a part of this vital movement. Let's build interdependence, resist oppression, and create a more just and equitable world together.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to invite the Cleveland Solar Co-op on stage, and on deck we have someone from Rust Belts.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ayat. I use she, her pronouns, and today we're going to talk about energy. So when we normally think about creating this economy to resist the oppression we're facing all around, energy is sometimes left out of the picture. And I don't know about you, but I actually had the power go out about a month ago, and it was very cold. And it's in moments like that you realize just how much the need energy is. So today we're here to talk to you about a solution that can be part of this solidarity economy, specifically cooperative solar cooperatives. And I'm going to hand it to Tim to talk about what they are and how you can participate.
Thanks, Ayat. I'm Tim Dewald. I use he, him. How's everybody doing tonight? Good. Always wanted to say that. Okay, so we'll start with the resist. Who remembers HB6 and First Energy and Larry Householder and all that? Show of hands. Okay. Do we like that? No, right. Okay, good. So everybody's familiar with the way that the current system is, right? We give our money to corporations who don't really care about us and take that money, bribe our elected representatives, and then give away our taxpayer dollars to support their stuff, right? Not a great system the way things are right now. So what do we want to do about it? So we are Cleveland Solar Cooperative. We want to help build community-owned solar here right in Cleveland. Go ahead and go on to the next slide. So how does that model work? What we do is we have member owners that pool their capital. We install a solar grid on, we find a site, we install a solar grid. They pay us for the power, and then we get, Craig will look at me right now, a very modest dividend off of that to then pay off our member owners and then reinvest in these solar projects all around the community. So we're bringing more solar energy online, more clean energy, taking away power from these terrible corporations who don't care about us, and keeping that wealth and that power and that control local here as well. So you can do the next slide. And that's just part of the picture, right? So this is a proven thing. We have partners in Minnesota that have done this clean, what is it, Craig? Cooperative Energy Futures, who has $30 million of installed solar capacity at this point up there that's about 10 years ahead of us of what we're doing right now. And really, this is building the economic and political power necessary to make real changes in our energy economy. And we have some other exciting things coming up as well that's going to have you guys be able to get more involved with it too. Aya?
Yeah. So have you ever walked by a building in your neighborhood and you're like, man, it would be really good if we could get solar there? So we want to help you do that. We want you to come together with a group of friends or a group of neighbors and take our solar school class happening this summer. And basically, we're going to walk you through these steps to take these project ideas and make them a real reality. And this class is project-based. So our asks or our offer to you all is to help us help you build solar in your neighborhood. And in terms of our ask, we would love more members as part of the Cleveland Solar Cooperative. You can talk more about what it takes to be a member.
Oh, sure. It's right there. We got a long form that you can fill out and kind of read. Really read, as the lawyers would tell us. So you're really going to read it. But it's a one-time membership fee of $20 to be a part of the cooperative. That makes you a member owner. You have voting rights. You can help us get projects started and gets you the ability to invest in projects down the road. If you're not ready to make that commitment, too, follow us on social media, get on our newsletter, be a part of our movement, and we appreciate you guys being here.
Just one note, you do not have to be, although we encourage you to be a cooperative member, to take the solar school. Just a note there.
Yay. All right. So next we have Michael from Rust Belt, and then I'll come to y'all for Tech Co-op.
Hello, everyone. My name is Michael Robinson. I use he, him pronouns. I'm with Rust Belt Riders and Till Soil. We pick up food scraps from businesses and residences and then turn that into compost. And then we use that compost as the base for a handful of different potting soils or soil blends, everything from seed starting mixes to compost to houseplant blends and cannabis blend as well. We've been around for about 10 years. And there are 34 people in the organization. 15 of us are worker owners, and we have a board of 6. And one of the things that we worked really hard on for the past decade is trying to be intentional about building sharing power into the systems that we're using. And that's both at the management level and at the governance level. So the bylaws had them coded in the shared power, and then at the management level, we're working to iterate on basically an operating system that we use to practice workplace democracy. And there's always going to be work to do on these types of systems, and we've learned a lot as we've gone through iterations of our systems over the years. We've made mistakes. We've done our best to learn from those mistakes, and so that's something that I think we would be happy to be sharing with folks. Was that experience in not only doing that, but doing that as an organization has grown from 2 people to 35. The other thing is the way that we've been able to raise capital over the years has been pretty specific to worker-run, worker-owned firms. And the world of finding these alternative sources of funding and financing at first seemed like it's really hard to seek that stuff out. But we've found that once you find like your people, you're able to really get into a community that's looking for projects that are doing things differently. So something that's been really surprising to us is seeing that, like, I've heard, and I think this is, we're seeing this happen, is that it's harder to find good projects than it is to find the money. And so being able to connect with folks and be able to share our process and how we did that would be something we could bring. Something that we're looking for would be folks to, some of you know that the Summer Sprouts program lost a lot of funding, and so those gardens don't have the seed starts that they normally have at the beginning of the year. So we're partnering with folks to be able to, we're giving them the soil to be able to start the seeds, and then those seed starts will be given to the summer sprouts gardens. So if you have a summer sprout plot and you need seed starts, you can find us. I've got some colleagues here today. If my colleagues would raise their hands, that'd be great. Thank you. So if you want to find any of us throughout the course of today, let us know and we'll hook you up with some starts if you have a plot. And if you want to start seeds, you can ask us about helping to start seeds for that effort too. Thank you very much. Stoked to be here to be with y'all.
Yay, thank you. And on deck we have Plaza Suites.
Thank you, Perna. Hi, y'all. My name is Eric. I'm here with my two good friends, Sal and Sully, and our fourth good friend, Ian, is not here tonight, but we're thinking of him fondly. We are the Forest City Tech Co-op. As you can see, one of the many services that we provide is event hybridization, which is what we're doing tonight. We've got about a dozen people who have joined us online. Hello, everyone online. We are really proud to be able to share this event with people who are not able to be here in person for whatever reason. And we think it's a really important piece of access that we'd like to offer to anyone here in this room. If you have an event coming up, we'd love to help not only do this for you, but teach you how to do it, give you the skills, lend you the equipment so that you can learn to do this for yourselves. We think it's very important to expand access in a teaching capacity, not just doing things for people. So we are providing technology support and education to the people. We are in a unique position to extend access to these gifts to our local community. That's the people in this room and the people that you know. So please tell a friend.
All right, so do you have a broken device? Are you looking for a secure messaging app? Do you want to learn about technology? Well, we're here to work with you to help you find the thing or the solution that you need that can fit your exact needs that you're looking for. We've helped people with anything from finding a computer, helping them purchase one through somewhere on the internet that is somewhere that has a good return policy, and just ensuring that they're finding something that is going to fulfill the needs that they actually have for their technology. Last night I was also on the phone with somebody in here trying to fix their DNS. If anybody knows about DNS, it's just the thing that points to your website. So anything, and we're just happy to help with people, any technology needs that you have. Just happy to be able to be a part of helping you not have that I'm sweating and I've spent far too long on this.
And I don't have much more to add except that we need new opportunities. So we've helped a lot of people so far, and we're happy to help you and the people that you know too. So you can look us up on the internet at forestcitytechcoop.org and email us at info@forestcitytechcoop.org. Yeah, what's the Instagram page?
Forest City Tech Co-op, I think was the.
That was my point. Yeah. Yeah. So that's that's it for Forest City Tech Co-op.
Okay, I'm gonna invite another treasured member who lives in a housing co-op, Laura. On deck, we have Forest City Land Trust.
Verna. Hi, everybody. My name is Laura, and I'm here on Prerna's request. I hate public speaking. I told her moving, public speaking, death. Those are three things I am afraid of. So I'll do my best here. I live on Hessler Road in University Circle. Are you all familiar with Hessler Road? Or yeah, you might know us from. Tell me, you might know us from a street fair that started in 1969 in an effort to preserve historic and affordable housing. And that was started by the Hessler Neighborhood Association and sort of tied in over time with the University Circle Tenants Union, which at the time the Hessler Housing Cooperative started was 200 people strong. And I'm putting it like in context. If you know University Circle, it is largely dominated by very wealthy institutions. And for the most part, neighbors have very little representation there. So between the hospital, the large museums, University Circle Incorporated, which is the Community Development Corporation, which has no resident representation on their board, and Case Western Reserve University. The pressures in that neighborhood have been really hard on residents, but we're holding it down with our housing co-op, which started in 1979. We own 7 units on Hessler Road. We have 2 up-downs, and we have 3 units in a row house. And we've been fighting for 55 years. We have basically rent control. I think I could ditto Plaza Suites, everything that you all are going through. We did it back in 1979. And we were lucky to get a mortgage from the National Co-op Bank. And I would say I'm like the second generation of co-op residents. So I basically got to ride in on the coattails. I didn't have to do all the heavy lifting, but I'm hoping to do the heavy lifting for the next 50 years at least to keep us going. And what else do I want to add in here? I guess for if you want to talk about co-op organizing, housing co-op organizing, just get rid of the landlord. It turns out you can save a lot of money if you do that. So that's what we did. And University Circle Incorporated was our landlord, and they were basically sitting on all the housing in University Circle using demolition by neglect, increasing rents, and doing nothing to improve the conditions of the buildings. And that's where the University Circle Tenants Union came in. And it resulted in lots of negotiation and rent strike. And ultimately, is that time? All right, woo, okay, I did it. I'm gonna do a quick ask. I think just on to piggyback on Plaza Suites, there, the old building stock in Cleveland makes great opportunity for housing cooperatives, but there's a lot of loss of knowledge about how to care for those old buildings. And sometimes the care that is given turns out to be detrimental for the building. So I'm looking to kind of form a group of people who understand old buildings. And I have a great connection with a preservation contractor who donates his time if anyone wants to meet up with him. And I am a gardener, so I'd be happy to help. I love teaching gardening. I've been working with kids in gardening for years. And so if you want help with your garden, I can give you my phone number and we can talk, okay? All right.
Yay. Okay, next we're gonna have Mark and Remus from Forest City Land Trust. On deck, we have IRTF.
Hello, thank you. My name is Remus. I also go by Elise. So yeah, we are part of the Forest City Community Land Trust. We support perpetually affordable housing by removing houses from the speculative market. We have legally incorporated and have a land lease that can make sure that houses stay more affordable and are resold within the community, while the owners can build equity and have the stability of their homes. So yeah, we have a couple really exciting announcements. We launched our website today. So everyone can check out forestcityclt.org. And if you want to join our mailing list, you can also become members. There's a $20 membership fee, and then you can make decisions within our community. We have a panel discussion coming up at the end of April. It's on Sunday, April 27th. It's going to be an amazing group of speakers, and that'll be at the Lee Road Library. We are also going to be starting a community garden. So for lots of different gardening projects starting, we have another one in Cleveland Heights, and it'll be right behind the first house in the land trust. So really hoping to build more roots in the Boulevard Neighbors area. So yeah, that being said, some asks is we do need tech support during the panel discussion. We're going to be working with the tech team, but could use an actual person to help with that if you're available. We ask folks to become members of our group, and very interested in working with any houses or land that want to join our movement. So if you're part of a housing co-op or own a house and want it to join the land trust, we can help make that happen.
And I was the guy on the phone with Sal last night getting help with the DNS, so I can attest to their help. And I just want to throw in that we don't have a lot to offer right now, but like Elise was saying, oh, we have 1 minute. We co-op groups that want to become a CLT. We are focused on Cleveland Heights right now, but we're very open to expanding in the future to the greater Cleveland area if we can succeed where we're at right now. That might be sooner or later, so let us know if you're interested. And apart from that, we see ourselves as hopefully part of a greater cooperative movement like what is going on, but specifically, other co-ops that could help support the CLT and be supported. And one idea we've talked about is a health clinic. I work as a primary care provider at Metro Health, and I would love to figure out how to use my skills in a way that would contribute to the greater cause. So if people want to discuss that, that's a very nascent, nascent idea, but please reach out.
Thank you. Okay, and on deck, I'm gonna have someone from Cleveland Owns give our last pitch.
Hello, again. You may have met Mark from People's Plumbing. I'm Mark with IRTF. Any pronouns. And though you can read it yourself, I am here to let you know that IRTF, or the Interreligious Task Force on Central America, irtfcleveland.org, is a grassroots group engaged in political education, mutual aid, direct action, rapid response, and community defense as a movement hub seeking to resource people and communities, build bridges, and foster connection through solidarity and deep relational organizing, and to focus on collective care. We seek to center Afro-Indigenous people and communities, and queer and disabled and low-wage working class folks at every aspect of our shared struggle. And I'm going to pass it to my partner here.
Thanks. And I'll take those notes. Cool. We are a worker-driven collective. We maintain 501c3 status for as long as we have a nation state because we don't want to pay into the war tax. We do not take government funding, and we are grateful that because we don't take government funding, we're not in the same position that a lot of other nonprofits are in right now with the defunding of everything. I want to add one addition to Bogdan's really incredible examples this earlier today, and that's not just Mondragon and the Underground Railroad, but the sanctuary movement was sort of deemed the overground railroad when refugees, because of U.S. foreign policies, were forced to migrate and continue to be forced to migrate because of multinational corporations and climate change and all these other things. And IRTF was helped in our founding to bring refugees into Canada as part of that sort of legacy of Station Hope. So we were founded in 1980 when 2 women from Cleveland were killed by U.S. trained and funded military forces. And we are a very internationalist organization that takes a very grassroots approach to our local struggle. The offering that we have for you all is that this Saturday we are hosting a liberation lab. We've poured a lot of love and energy and study and a lot of amazing people, including the tech co-op, are going to be there. And we're going to be talking about choosing liberation over religious nationalism, learning wisdom from the future from our student organizers who've been repressed at Cleveland State and Case Western, and thinking about embodying sanctuary, not just for immigrants, but also for trans folks and Indigenous folks and folks engaged in mutual aid and disaster relief, particularly within the Afro-descendant communities. And the need we have is, please come visit us at the table over here during speed dating. To sign up for our Rapid Response Network alerts thread on Signal. If you don't know what Signal is, it's an encrypted messaging app, and we don't have a lot of great solutions for having private communications besides taking a walk together in the woods, but this is the best thing we have for now, and we would love for you to join the alerts thread that we have if you're willing to join Signal on your phone or on your computer so that we can alert people about deportation defense in the moment. Thank you so much for being here, and it's a true honor to be part of this greater cooperative collective circle.
Thank you. Okay. Last, we're going to welcome Craig to talk a little bit about what we do here at Cleveland Owns.
Hi, everyone. My name is Craig. I use he, him, his pronouns. I am the Energy Democracy Organizer with Cleveland Owns. We are an economic democracy incubator that supports groups of workers and neighbors who want to build wealth and grassroots power by starting cooperatives and organizing for change in our economic system. We're fighting authoritarianism and systems of domination by striking at the heart of racial capitalism, ownership. From the overbearing manager who makes your life miserable to the clowns in the White House, the tyrants of our age derive their power from money and ownership. Our goal is to build the economic and people power necessary to overturn our current economic system and turn it on its head and have a Cleveland that is owned by its residents. A Cleveland that puts the needs and wants of the many ahead of the profits of the few. And so we're offering some classes this year to help folks do that. We have one on cooperative workplaces where you can learn about the many examples of local cooperatives beyond what you've learned tonight and how cooperatives can help us build that economy that we all want. Another on cooperative housing. This is a second iteration of this, learning about how one of the most important needs we have, housing, can be done cooperatively, like we've seen with Hessler and Plaza Suites, how that can be governed, financed, and developed together. And then we also have the solar school, which Ayat and Tim talked about, which will be a great chance to learn how we can take back our energy system. And some of our needs, in fact, are all of you. We're asking that folks get involved. Help us build this new world. It's the only way it's going to happen. You can get involved with some of our projects that we're working with, like Cleveland Solar Cooperative. If you know a nonprofit that has electric bills, you can have them join Power Up. We also work with Participatory Budgeting Cleveland, PB-CLE, and they are starting a new pilot program and need folks to get involved with that, as well as where we're at right now, co-op circles, plenty of stuff to do here. So those are our needs, our offers. It's great to be here tonight, and it's also great to go last, because I can really hold the mic up for as long as I want.
Thank you. I just want to share a lot of gratitude for everyone who came up on stage and pitched. It's scary to be up here, so thank you all so much for pitching. We're going to segue into the next part.